It's time for live chat. The Psychetruth live chat. Every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on your YouTube machine. Live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat. I'll answer your questions about whatever you want to talk about on the Psychetruth. Live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat. The birthday edition. Live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming. It is time for the Psychetruth live chat, the moment that you have all been waiting for, perhaps since I was rudely disturbed and cut off last week abruptly. I don't know what happened to the feed last week, but my apologies to all of you who were in the chat and waiting to have your question answered. Hopefully we can carry through this valiant live chat without any interruptions from the internet signal provider, aka Google Fiber. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. My name is Corrina Rachel. For those who don't know me, I am a certified holistic health coach, and this weekly live chat that I've been doing for a couple of years now is all about your questions. So fitness, weight loss, nutrition, diets, really anything under that big umbrella of wellness and trying to be healthy, trying to feel and look and just have the energy that we all want to have. So thank you for coming. Please leave your questions in the comment box below. If you leave some question marks at the beginning of your question, it's going to make it a lot easier for me to see the questions. I also just have to mention on a kind of side note, not very important, pretty insignificant, but tomorrow is my birthday. Anyways, I am pretty excited about that. I have even more energy than I normally do, which says a lot because I'm already a total goofball. But anyways, so we're going to see what this chat has to bring. Getting ready here. Oh, actually got a pretty good pop in my elbows there, interestingly enough. Alrighty, so thank you for coming. Let me scroll down in here and see what's up. Just on another slight side note before we get started, there is now an option to leave a tip with your questions. These chats don't make any money. So literally what you guys leave in tips with your question, that is all that we benefit from these chats. I love doing these chats. I love answering your questions. But anyways, we really super mega appreciate your tips. So there's a little $sign right underneath the little comment box. If you click that, you'll be able to leave a tip. And guys, people who leave a tip are going to get priority to their questions. YouTube actually bumps those comments up to the top. So if you want a guarantee of your question being answered, please leave me a tip. All sizes of tips are welcome and greatly appreciated. So don't feel like you have to leave a huge amount of money. Every little thing really does help, guys, really does help keep the gears turning down here at Psychetruth. Thank you so much to Issa Dev for moderating the live chat, helping me to de-troll the comment section as much as possible. Brian Keith Counterman Jr., I am so glad that you are here. Thank you so much for coming, and I hope that you are feeling better. Yes, I know. Can't believe it. I'm going to be 32 tomorrow. I just can't believe it. All right, guys, so I'm looking for questions, scrolling down. Mega You Kev, how can I get a massage from you guys? So I'm technically not a licensed massage therapist, but if you wanted to receive massage from Mira Hoffman, from Tessa Canzona, we have a lot, Robert Gardner, of course, we have a lot of therapists that we do work with. Melissa LeMunyon would be another one. We are all here in Austin. So all you really got to do is come to Austin and book an appointment with one of our therapists. And it's about that easy. Dr. Eccles, the chiropractor, actually gets a lot of people who come to Austin specifically to see him. He's had people come from all over the country, come from Canada. All right. Okay, cool. Questions. Here we go. This is my favorite part. It's seeing y'all's questions. Hopefully I'm able to give you a helpful answer. That's my goal. Khadijah US, pardon me for butchering your name, Khadijah. What is the best diet for you to lose weight? Okay, so this is a really good question, and it kind of, this is like the $1 million question, right? That everyone wants to know. What's the one simplest, easiest thing that I could do that's going to guarantee me to lose weight? All right, so a couple of considerations and things that just unfortunately can't be disregarded or can't be ignored. So every person's body is different. So just the idea that there's like one diet that's going to work the best on every different person in every situation, in every lifestyle all over the world is kind of a flawed approach just in and of itself. So the first thing I would say is be open to the idea that you have to really figure out what works for you and accept that what works for you might not be the same thing that works for your sister or works for your favorite YouTuber or really, is even a specific diet that someone's designed. So what I mean by that is that as you try different things, try eating different ways, you just kind of pay attention to how does that make you feel? Because really and truly, there's things that can make you lose weight, but you're going to feel like crap while you do it. So the ideal scene is that you find a way of eating that not only helps contribute to your weight loss or fitness goals, but also makes you feel good, gives you energy, gives you positivity and motivation. Because without the positivity and motivation, how are you going to stay on that diet? All right. So there's things like the cabbage soup diet, the grapefruit diet. I would never try one of these things because it just sounds absolutely miserable to me. Sounds miserable. But it's not to say that they don't work for some people. So first thing is not the same thing is going to work for everybody. Some people are going to benefit more from a vegetarian diet, where for other people, a vegetarian diet may leave them feeling lethargic and depressed, and actually integrating animal products back into their diet can help them to feel healthy again. So I'm really not a fan of this one size fits all kind of approach, like there's one kind of diet for everybody. So everyone's going to be different. Try different things. Try, if you want to try being vegan, try it and see how it makes you feel. In terms of weight loss, there's a couple just really simple things that you should know, which is that you want to avoid those processed foods. And unfortunately, the ones that actually say diet on them, like Diet Cokes, Diet whatever, sugar-free Oreos, all of those types of processed foods are kind of even worse for you than the regular ones. So stay away from all the processed foods, even the ones that say diet. Okay, opt for natural foods, vegetables, fruits, salads. This should really be the bulk of your calories. And whether you eat meat or not, guys, you need to have a lot of your calories coming from vegetables. Probably the biggest contributor to weight gain is the refined flour. So your white bread, your bagels, your pasta, your potato chips, your Doritos, all of those different refined carbohydrates are really one of the biggest causative factors in weight loss. And that's why something like the Atkins diet, where you go very low carb, or a ketogenic diet where you go completely no carb, can be beneficial, because as long as you're putting sugar in your bloodstream all the time, you are constantly going to be storing fat, and you're really not going to have any success with losing weight. So really good question there. I don't know if I gave you exactly the answer you were looking for, but hopefully that was helpful for you. Okay, and I feel really bad because I saw someone leave a tip. It showed up for a second, but then it's not showing me a comment. So whoever that was just left a tip. If you have a question, please leave it and I will be sure to answer it. And thank you for my birthday tip. I appreciate it. Ruben Estrada is asking about turmeric. Hi, Corrina Rachel. Is turmeric good for healthy skin? So turmeric is an herb that I would argue is really good for all different areas of your health. So it's a potent antioxidant. And this is one of the reasons that turmeric and skin are kind of often thought of together, because when you think antioxidant, think anti-aging. So when you hear about the antioxidant capacity of, certain berries or certain fruits or something like turmeric, then you are literally thinking like anti-aging, because those antioxidants fight the oxidative damage that contributes to aging. Oh my gosh. What? Did somebody just tip $50? Is that for real? What? The Alaric 89. It says NOK 50. I don't know what that's like some other currency. But anyways, thank you. Thank you so much. I actually don't see a question associated with your tip, but Alaric 89, if you have a question, I will definitely answer it. Thank you so much for your generosity. That is very, very sweet. Liza Rome, I am going to answer this, although I can't tell if this is a real question or not. It says, I want to be anorexic because I'm depressed from living with an emotionally abusive guy, and I just want to be happy about something. How can I start becoming anorexic? If this is a joke, that is the most distasteful joke I've ever seen in my life. Liza, if you are a real person genuinely asking me this question, then I, from my heart, just want to tell you, you got to get out of the emotionally abusive relationship. The solution is not to become anorexic. The solution is to get out of that relationship. And if you need to seek help, if you need to seek out a friend, or even, the police or something, right? If someone is being abusive, whether it's physical or emotional, you got to do whatever it takes to get away from that person and protect yourself from that person. Because no amount of controlling your body or controlling your weight or anything else is ever going to resolve the pain and the hurt that person is causing you. So please don't become anorexic. Please don't stay in this unhealthy relationship. And I hope that's not a joke, because that would just be out of such poor taste. But I also hope that you're not actually in that situation, because that's very unfortunate. And I do hope that you will reach out for some help. Melissa 10380, how much water should you drink in a day? There are recommendations, like you should drink, what is it? It's like 10% of your weight in ounces. So if I weigh 150 pounds, then it'd be like 15 ounces. Or wait, let's see. 12 ounces. I can't what is that calculation? Anyways, okay, the bottom line with water, and I'm going to drink some right now because it makes me really thirsty just talking about water. Listen to your thirst. Listen to your body. Now, it's super duper important that you drink lots of water. So if you drink none, you need to start building up. So, 3 glasses like this, 3 12-ounce glasses a day would probably be a good minimum. So like have a glass in the morning, have a glass sometime in the afternoon between your meals, and then make sure that you have another glass in the evening, maybe before dinner. So, because if you have it after dinner, then there's a chance that you're going to be waking up to use the restroom, right? But that would be a bare minimum. As far as, if you're drinking enough or whatever, let your thirst guide you. Because when you start looking at water and it looks very unappetizing, then that's probably your body's way of telling you that it has enough and you don't need to drink anymore. So don't feel like you have to force yourself to drink an uncomfortable amount of water. All right, but you should be drinking a minimum of 3 glasses of water per day. Absolute bare minimum. And then hopefully moving up from there. If you're more active or you live in a warmer environment, drink even more water. Excuse me. Man, okay, really good questions here. Oh yes, we have Adrian Jones says but we totally have the same nail color. I am absolutely loving this super hot pink right now. And did I mention that it's my birthday tomorrow? So that is why my nails are painfully hot pink. Because it's my birthday and I should probably do whatever I want. All right, Heather McNichol says, how to eat healthy on a budget. I spend about $30 to $40 a week on fruits and vegetables, but I always run out by Wednesday. How to make it stretch a bit farther? Okay. So there's a couple different things, and I actually want to do an entire video on this topic because I get this question all the time. And of course, I myself personally am constantly worried about this question, right? I'm always looking for ways to find more cost-effective ways to be healthy. So one of the just first things that I like to mention is shopping from the bulk department for your items like beans and rice. If you eat quinoa, quinoa is another thing that will often come from those bulk bins. So what you have to understand is that when you buy any kind of packaged food, so we could think about when you buy a bag of pasta and it comes in a bag and it's inside a box, all of that packaging you're paying for. So when you shop in the bulk department, where you either bring your own glass jars to fill up with beans and rice and stuff like that, or they'll usually have, bags as well, plastic bags, but you're cutting out all the packaging and all the marketing that goes on the labeling, all of that stuff, we get carried on the cost for that. So when you're buying the Nabisco and the Oreos and the Wheat Thins and all that stuff, part of the money that you're paying is just going to the packaging and the marketing and the wrapper and all that stuff. So first tip is bulk department. And if you don't have one in your grocery store, look around for some different grocery stores and see if you can find that. If you have a farmer's market in your town, here in Austin, we have a couple of them. Usually they're on Saturday mornings. There's one on Wednesday afternoon up in North Austin. But if you live in a small town, you can even go out and just find a farm and go out to the farm or call them up and talk to them. Getting your fruits and vegetables direct from a farmer is another super cost-effective way to go about it. One thing that we have here in Austin, there's a I don't know what to call it, a company called Johnson's Backyard Garden, and it's all organically grown fruits and vegetables. And what they do is you can actually go out and volunteer and work on the farm, and then they will send you home with bags and bags of vegetables. So find a farmer, find a farmer. And if you live somewhere rural, that'll be even easier, right? Than if you live somewhere urban and then you actually have to go to the scheduled farmers market events. But buying directly from a farmer is a great way to save money. Again, you're cutting out all the packaging, you're cutting out the middleman. Oftentimes when you buy it fresh from the farm or the farmer, you're also getting fresher, healthier food too, because it doesn't travel as far on a truck, getting transported from one place to another. So healthier and cheaper. And if you can find a farm where you can actually do a work trade or volunteer trade for food, even better. Let's see. Another thing I just have to say is, being kind of cautious, or just conscious rather, of the food you're buying and making sure that you store it in a way that it will last. Okay, so, and paying attention to, trying to eat the foods that are going to go bad first. So the things that are going to stay in the fridge a little bit longer, like broccoli, maybe you don't, you save those for a little later in the week. But early in the week, you want to eat all those things that are going to start wilting really quickly, like your lettuce and stuff like that. We talked about bulk. We talked about farmers markets. Preparing your own food at home just has to be said. If you are going out and you're eating fast food or eating those like prepackaged meals, that is not a cost-effective way to eat healthy. And I know that it takes a little bit more time to prepare our own foods, but you will save so much money preparing your own foods than eating at restaurants or even eating fast food, which when it, even though it can be really cheap, sometimes you could actually spend the same amount of money at a grocery store and provide a healthy meal for your family. And then the only difference is how much time it takes to prepare that meal. So it's kind of a consideration, I understand. Vivian67 says, I want to lose weight, but it's so hard. So this isn't a question, but I do want to just quickly address this. The reason it's hard is because you think it's hard. And because in your heart and in your soul and in your mind, you have accepted that it's hard to lose weight. It's hard to lose weight. Now, I'll be perfectly honest with you. It's not easy to lose weight the way that it's easy to sit around and watch every single episode of Daredevil, one after the other, and stay awake for 30 hours. It is not as easy to lose weight as it is to eat a cupcake. It's not as easy to lose weight as it is to take your dog for a walk. But guys, it's not hard to lose weight. What makes it hard is our own mind telling us that it's hard, and our own mind kind of sabotaging us from grasping on to those simple ways to lose weight. So, simple mantra of weight loss, you could say, is that there are a million different ways to lose weight. There's a million different ways to lose weight. You can lose weight simply by cutting sugar out of your diet or significantly reducing sugar. You can lose weight by simply reducing the amount of time throughout the day that you're eating sugar. So things like sipping on sodas, chewing on candies, chewing gum. If you're someone who's just constantly nibbling on something or sipping on a sweet beverage, just stopping that one activity, that one action, drinking water in between your meals instead. Don't snack, don't nibble on little candies and stuff. If you're gonna eat a bag of M&Ms, fine, but eat it all at one time. So thinking about like, if there's 24 hours in a day, how many hours of the day are you spending pumping sugar into your bloodstream? And the more you can just reduce that, so this is, like the recommendation to eat 3 meals a day with no snacking. So these spikes in your blood sugar that come when you eat, rather than being like this all day long, spiking your blood sugar, you're just doing it at the meals. And then your blood sugar can regulate in between. Or if that sounds really unappealing, you can eat 6 smaller meals throughout the day. But again, don't snack on candies and sodas in between. You could work out. There's tons of people out there who lose weight not by changing their diet at all, but just by exercising. And similar, there's people who can lose weight simply by changing their diet and not lifting a freaking finger. We've got somebody in the office building right now who's doing that. They're doing a ketogenic diet. Ketogenic diet means that you reduce your carbohydrate intake pretty much completely. And when there is no glucose in your bloodstream coming from your diet, your body is forced to burn up the fat or the stored energy reserves all over your body. So a ketogenic diet will make you lose weight. So anyways, I'm just want to illustrate that there are a ton of different ways to lose weight. There's a ton of different things you can do, and you don't have to do all of them. You don't have to do all of them. And it's not practical for someone to try and, okay, I'm going to work out and I'm going to reduce my sugar and I'm going to do this. You don't have to do all of them. You just have to do something. You just have to do something, anything. Drink more water. Get more sleep. Reduce your sugar intake. Keep your sugar intake the same, but do it at like one time rather than all throughout the day. Get more exercise. Walk around the block. Walk around your house. Do a jumping jack. Do a Psychetruth video. Anyways, changing your mindset, I think, is the biggest step in helping you lose weight. So just letting go of the idea that it's hard, letting go of the idea that you can't lose weight, and just starting to do something and do anything. And literally anything you do is going to help and is going to make a difference. And once you start to see that difference, once you start to see the change, that will propel you to do even more. So you just have to start somewhere. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, you guys, I'm getting so many birthday wishes. Ooh. Aww. Y'all are gonna make me cry. Oh. Oh, you guys are really sweet. Okay, here we go. Megan Nicole. She says, how do you know what sort of food is bad or good? Did you study for it? Okay, so just a little background on me. I was in college taking biology courses. It was actually inside of a cell biology class where we were learning about cancer and DNA mutations, where I had this little light go off in my head that was like, oh, so things that cause more chemical reactions in the body are going to have the potential to cause more oxidative damage and more DNA mutations. Oh, so highly processed foods are going to cause significantly more chemical reactions in the body and are probably going to contribute to more free radical damage, to more potential damage of the DNA. Then I started learning about how vitamins work, and, like we have all these names for different vitamins, vitamin A and C and B12, and, but those are just chemicals. Okay, and they have a chemical structure just like every other chemical on the planet, and you start to learn about how the body literally can receive these certain chemicals and do miraculous things with them, like heal inflamed and damaged tissues, repair DNA. I mean, your body can literally has all of these little sensors in every single one of your cells that is there to make sure that your DNA is replicated without any mistakes. And if there is a mistake, your cells are programmed to kill themselves. It's called apoptosis. And one of the ways that cancer survives is by disrupting these cell cycle control mechanisms that will cause that programmed cell death or apoptosis, where a cancerous cell will kill itself, or any kind of damaged cell or any cell with damaged DNA. All right, so I got really obsessed with nutrition. I became really, really interested in studying nutrition, learning more about it. I had previously not really known anything about health or nutrition. I jokingly, but probably realistically, say I was probably eating Cheez-Its and drinking a Coke when I had this little epiphany. And it was like my last Cheez-Its and a Coke, because I started to realize why processed foods are so harmful. A few years later, I completed a program from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, and that's how I became a certified holistic health coach. So in that program, we studied over 100 different diets and dietary approaches, looking at just all different kinds of ways of eating, different things that can be beneficial for various conditions, et cetera, et cetera. So I studied in college. I studied in my Institute of Integrative Nutrition program. I've also done a copious amount of reading, of interviewing doctors and clinical nutritionists on this channel. And then largely, honestly, at this point, most of what I say is just common sense. I remember when I was in college and I was becoming obsessed with nutrition. So this was like almost 10 years ago now. I did my senior thesis, my big gigantic research paper was called The Physiological Effects of Processed Foods and Implications in Health and Disease. And I talked about trans fats, and I talked about free radicals in oxidative damage and oxidative stress. I talked about, so partially hydrogenated oils, that's the same as trans fats. I talked about the dangers of pesticides, talked about the dangers of antibiotics being used in the food. All of these things back then, I was just doing this research, and largely it was a thesis. I was like proposing that these were the effects that processed foods have. Now, 10 years later, all that stuff I was saying in my senior thesis paper, it's everywhere. It's in Shape magazine. It's in, it's in all of the major, like mainstream things now. They're all saying the same things that I was saying. And so now it's kind of accepted into the mainstream. Processed foods in general are not good for you. Natural foods in general are good for you. Opt for things that don't have a long ingredient list. So within the realm of, nutrition and certainly of natural health, pretty much all the things that I'm saying are, I would just consider the basics. Really not rocket science here in terms of the advice that I'm giving. The problem is just that it's not what we've learned in the mainstream, and it's not what we learn in school, and it's certainly not what we learn from watching television, because Nabisco is never going to run an ad where they actually tell you what's inside of the wheat thin and why you shouldn't eat them. They're not going to do that. They're not going to, General Mills is not going to do a commercial telling you about genetically modified foods and why you should avoid them. It just ain't going to happen. So anyways, I don't know if that answers your question, Megan. But yes, I've studied a lot. I've done a lot of reading and studying about foods. I do try to give the most accepted advice I can give, so to speak. So I really don't have like a super woo-woo approach to healthy eating. I think I have a pretty kind of basic approach that's really largely accepted now by pretty much everyone in the field of natural health. And even, like I said, a lot of the mainstream is now accepting these kind of basic things, like you shouldn't eat partially hydrogenated oils, you should stay away from GMOs, things like that. How often can you eat fast food? I would recommend that you don't eat it at all. So wherever you're at, just start weaning yourself down. So if you're eating fast food 5 times a week, try going down to 4. Then after a few weeks, maybe try going down to 3. If you're eating fast food 10 times a week, try going down to 9. Then down to 8. Etc. At this point, so we have I don't know if it's like healthy, but it's supposed to be healthier fast food here in Austin called P. Terry's. I'll eat a veggie burger at P. Terry's once in a while. Maybe like once a month, twice a month. I don't know if that gives you an answer. All right, guys. So we're about 30 minutes into the chat here. I just want to give a quick welcome to anyone who is just arriving in the chat room. My name is Corrina Rachel. I'm a certified holistic health coach, and this is your chance to put me on the spot with your health and fitness related questions. It is my birthday tomorrow, so I am in a bit of a celebratory mood here. Yes, I am. It is quite celebratory in here. If you want to leave a question, please do. Please leave some question marks at the beginning of your question. And if you leave a tip with your question, so clicking the little $sign that's right under the comment box, if you leave a tip with your question, it will get pushed up to the top and it will actually guarantee that you get an answer to your question. So we do not benefit from these live chats in any way other than the warm, fuzzy feeling that I get from answering y'all's questions. So your tips are greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. I'm sorry, I don't get that question. Hot Pink Lips 85. Do you know any natural remedies for TMJ? Turbomandibular something or other. It's the popping of the jaw. TMJ, I actually had TMJ when I was a lot younger, and I had to wear this crazy, it was called a splint. So it like flattened out the teeth on the top so that my jaw could move into its natural position, and then I wore braces that moved my teeth into that position. And I don't know if that was better or not, but at least I don't have TMJ anymore. I'm sure that the TMJ treatments have changed a lot since frickin' 20 years ago when I wore braces. Okay, I've been to the doctor several times and all they do is tell me to take ibuprofen. So real quick side note, painkillers like ibuprofen and Advil and aspirin. Aspirin's not as bad for you, but those painkillers like that are not healthy for us. They're actually very taxing on the liver. So taking painkillers all the time, even the little over-the-counter Tylenol or whatever, is not a healthy thing to do on a regular basis. Every once in a while, it's probably not gonna, cause a big problem, but people who are taking painkillers all the time, which is a lot of us, okay, it's a lot of people that are taking these painkillers, again, either prescribed, which are even worse for you, but even those over-the-counters, try to avoid them as much as possible. It's not a good you know what I mean? Like, your doctor's not helping you at all by telling you to take a painkiller that's actually super toxic for your liver. Okay, so TMJ, there's a couple different things. Just immediate remedies would be doing just your own kind of jaw massage. There's little pressure points around the jaw. So moving your tongue from the roof of your mouth to the bottom of your mouth is a good cue to remember to help relax your jaw. So most of the time, your tongue is up at the roof of your mouth. Check right now. I'd be interested to know how many of you didn't notice. But when I say drop your tongue from the roof of your mouth to the bottom of your mouth, it helps to relax your jaw. Then you can literally just kind of palpate around this area and look for those little trigger points. And what that means is a super, super duper tender point. That, like, when you touch it with this, so I can poke myself in the face or whatever, and it's not painful. When you find a trigger point, it'll take not even very much pressure at all, but it will be like, oh my, ow, right? So don't go in super deeply, but if you just start to gently massage those trigger points, and to do it on a regular basis while you kind of consciously relax your jaw, you can start to kind of unwire that point, so to speak. Obviously, receiving massage therapy from an actual massage therapist can also be very nice along those same lines. Also worth noting that a chiropractor or a craniosacral therapist. So craniosacral therapy has to do with bringing alignment to the skeletal and musculature system. And so that, a craniosacral therapist can literally manipulate the bones in your jaw and like in your head, not to mention the whole rest of your body, to actually help resolve any kind of alignment issues that you might have. Also consider just grinding your jaw, grinding your teeth. You're creating more tension, more inflammation, and more pain. So if you need to get a little bite guard to wear at night so that you don't grind your teeth, or set a little reminder on your phone or something to tell you, hey, relax your jaw. If you start bringing attention to this, you're going to notice that you're clenching a lot. So just relaxing this area, again, that little trigger point massage or something can be really, really helpful. Truly resolving TMJ is going to come to resolving the structural and probably skeletal issues that are causing the TMJ in the first place. So unfortunately, not really a natural remedy, so to speak. Other good topical pain relievers would be arnica. There's a lot of really good arnica gel type things. There's even arnica pills you can take if you're in a lot of pain. But a topical arnica gel could be very nice. There's a lot of different essential oils, of other essential oils that are also known to reduce inflammation and pain, like peppermint or eucalyptus. So you might just kind of experiment and see if any of those essential oils can bring you some relief. Is swimming a sport? I mean, I think so. You can get better at it. You can compete at it. It takes a huge amount of physical strength, coordination, skill. So yeah, I would definitely say that swimming is a sport. Does a vegan diet work for everybody? No. You know, it definitely works really, really well for some people, but that doesn't guarantee that it's going to work really, really well for everyone. And I would just have to point out that even among a vegan diet, there's a huge amount of variation. Some people are more fruitarian, meaning they get the bulk of their calories from fruit. Some vegans are averse to honey and bee-related products. Some vegans eat them. So even within a very restricted diet like veganism, there's a lot of wiggle room. There's a lot of changes and ways that, you know, one person could eat a vegan diet and it could be really good for them. Another person could eat the exact same way and it wouldn't make them healthy. It wouldn't make them feel healthy. So every person's body is different. You gotta listen to your body and listen to your cravings. You know, and listen to how foods make you feel when you start to eat them. If you start eating a vegan diet and, you know, it makes you feel worse, maybe you're not doing it right, or maybe you're still not quite eating the right things, or maybe a vegan diet just isn't right from you. So, you know, you really just have to be open-minded, honestly. Bruce Bromley, thank you for your tip. Greatly appreciated. Once again, it's not showing me a question. So if you left a question, please leave it again because it's not showing up here with your tip. But thank you, Bruce. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Cannot tell you what it means to us to have y'all's support. I want a specific diet for slim in every part of my body. Guys, I've literally made hundreds of videos, like top 10 foods for weight loss snacks, what to eat, what not to eat. So at risk of just repeating myself of everything I've said in all these videos, really general questions like that, like what should I do to lose weight? How do I lose weight? Please, 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 please. Go watch some of my videos on these topics. I have worked really, really hard over the last several years, making literally hundreds of videos to try and answer these questions. So really general questions, I'm just gonna ask that you please go check out some of my videos where I've addressed a lot of these things. I'm kind of looking for a little bit more specific type questions. And thank you, Charlie, for standing up for me. Yes, I have been doing these live chats for 3 years, never made a single penny off them. They literally don't benefit us in any way other than the warm, fuzzy feeling that I get from answering questions, which is why I have argued and fought to keep my live chat, because it costs us money. It costs our company money. So even if everyone in this room left me a tip, it would still not make up for the 3 years of what this live chat has cost. So yeah, please don't hold it against me. All right. Everyone on YouTube, we're all trying to survive. Here at Psychetruth, we're trying to help people. So please help us, help people. If you make a contribution to our channel, you should have a warm, fuzzy feeling because you should know that you just helped someone else. Anyhow. Healthy chocolate? Healthy chocolate? Yes, chocolate is healthy. But it's very, very important which kind of chocolate we're talking about. So your typical Hershey Kisses and typical chocolate bars that you see everywhere, unfortunately, are not going to give you any health benefits, and even more unfortunately, are actually going to be really bad for your health because of the high level of sugar. But when we talk about chocolate in its natural form, it's actually known as cacao. So the only difference between cacao and cocoa is whether or not the chocolate has been processed. So when you see something that says raw cacao or raw chocolate, or if you look on the ingredient label and you see cacao, it's like C-A-C-A-O, as opposed to C-O-A-C-O-A, cocoa, or however the hell you spell it. When you see that cacao with an A, it means it's in its minimally processed state. And the raw cacao bean, before it gets processed and turned into cocoa, is a ridiculously high source of magnesium. The raw cacao bean itself, if you were to actually to eat the cacao nib, or actually the cacao bean, it's like a little bean, looks like that, you get a lot of fiber as well. So something like raw chocolate bars or adding raw cacao beans into your smoothie is actually a wonderful way to add minerals, to add health benefits. And again, if you use the nibs or the cacao beans, you also get that fiber. And the benefit of the fiber is that it slows down the process of breaking down sugar. So whatever sweetener is also in it, because the cacao bean itself is very bitter. That's why they have to add sugar to it, because just the cacao on its own is strong and chocolatey, but it's kind of bitter. It's not sweet on its own. So finding a chocolate bar or chocolate snack or whatever that's naturally sweetened with something like dates. So raw cacao beans and dates are a wonderful thing. I throw them into smoothies. So I'm like, I want to make this sweet and I want to make it chocolatey. Dates and raw cacao beans can help you do that in a healthy way. There's also lots of raw chocolate bars out there, things like that. So really, dark chocolate typically is going to have lower sugar. But if you want to get the health benefits, it's got to be raw chocolate. And again, looking for the cacao with an A is your signal that you have a minimally processed chocolate. Bruce Bromley, I hit 53 next week. I fight for motivation. Is it ever too late? Okay, Bruce, first thing I would say is no, it is never too late. And secondly, 53 is definitely not too late, because that's like, I remember when I was like 16 and I thought that 25 was old. You know, really, it's all relative. I'm going to turn 32 tomorrow and I'm going like, holy crud, I feel like an 18-year-old. You know, anyways, so, I mean, your age is really all in what you make of it. And largely, the way that we live our lives is going to dictate how we feel. And I think the way we feel is way more important than our age. So don't feel restricted by your age and totally let go of the idea that it could ever be too late. Like, it's literally never too late. Do y'all ever see on Facebook or YouTube, there will be like people in their 80s or their 90s and they start doing yoga and they like get all crazy fit and stuff. Literally, it is never too late. Okay, so fighting for motivation. You know, we talked a little bit earlier about motivation and somebody had asked, you know, why is it so hard to lose weight? I think she didn't ask. She just said, it's hard to lose weight. You know, so it kind of touches on this really sensitive nerve, you know, which is how do we motivate ourselves? How do we get the, you know, it's a combination of energy, of positivity, and of confidence in ourselves. You know, because if we don't have a feeling of confidence that we can achieve something, then that lack of confidence in itself kind of becomes a motivational factor. There we go. So here's a couple of my ideas, kind of stemming off of the track I was on earlier and responding to, I can't recall the person's name, but the comment earlier about weight loss being hard. I would just propose to you the idea that there are tons of different ways to lose weight. There's tons of different ways. And you don't have to do all of them. You just have to do some of them. And really and truly, one of them. Any little thing is going to make a difference and it's going to give you a lot of benefit. So we're kind of, you know, it's kind of human nature that we, you know, we set really high goals. We typically kind of have an inclination to, I don't know, for lack of a better term, just make things harder on ourselves. You know, we look at our lives and we look at our, you know, ourself, and we say things like, you can never finish anything you start. Why can't you ever complete anything? Why can't you ever succeed anything? Why can't I lose weight? Why is it so hard to lose weight? So I said this a little bit earlier. I literally think that if we can just flip our mindset, literally all of these restrictions and barriers and obstacles can be removed. Now, it's not an overnight thing like, oh, just change your mindset, blah, da, 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 da. But, you know, accepting that there's a million ways to lose weight. You don't have to do all of them. You just have to do something, anything, and just start somewhere. You know, a lot of times people are like, Corrina, I just don't know where to start. And I'm like, literally the best place to start is wherever you can see yourself starting. So maybe it's just drinking a glass of water in the morning. Maybe it's taking a walk around the block. One of the things I started doing years ago is when I'm out on the phone, rather than sitting down, walk around. Like when cordless phones were invented, I was like, whoa, this is so cool. Dating myself again. So just find something, just do anything, and don't feel overwhelmed by the fact that there's so much different things to do. Feel empowered by the fact that there's so many different things you can do. You have a lot of choices and you just have to pick something and just start somewhere. Okay, herbals for play. Thank you so much for your tip and your question. What is the best way to do a heavy metal detox in your opinion? Okay, so detox is a big topic. Detox is a complex topic. And heavy metal detox, now we're getting even a little bit more specific, but let me try and kind of touch on a couple, what I feel are really key things to address here. The first thing to know is that detoxification, super duper beneficial, but you don't want to go too fast or too intense. with a detoxification, because literally all those toxins that your body has been insulating, so basically toxins come in our diet, in our pollution, in our skincare products, outgassing out of the paint in the wall. I mean, not to be a negative Nelly, but we're exposed to a lot of toxicity. And especially if you live in an urban environment, you're probably exposed to even more toxicity. So the toxins come in and your body is like, I got to get rid of that thing. What am I going to do? Well, it stores it up and it insulates it in a fat cell. And so literally all the fat all throughout your body becomes the little storage units, not only for the excess energy, which is what turned into the fat in the first place, but also for toxins. So when you go to detox, you're literally forcibly pulling those toxins out of their little safe insulated fat cells and pulling them up to the surface so that they can be purged, either through your sweat or through your digestive tract, and actually even through our breath. Interestingly, we actually detox a lot through our breath. So there's a lot of different detox products out there. There's teas, there's, all sorts of detox programs and detox diets. And I just would urge you to exercise some precaution and kind of check in with yourself. If you're someone who's really, really healthy, you've been healthy for the last 10, 15 years, you exercise, you eat well, then your body is going to be able to handle a detox much better than someone who's really highly toxic. So if you're someone out there who you eat a lot of processed foods, you eat a lot of fast foods, maybe you don't get a whole lot of exercise, gentle with any kind of detox that you do, because your body is full of toxins, and once they start coming to the surface, they can manifest in things like emotional moodiness, headaches, and sometimes even like nausea and stuff like that, but typically headaches. So don't detox too quickly, don't detox too intensively. And Herbals for Play, to finally get to your answer, my favorite way to detox is to detox gently. Now, if you have actually been to a doctor and they have told you that you have a heavy metal issue, heavy metal exposure problem, then maybe you need to do a formal heavy metal detox. And there are programs for that. Just to give you a couple ideas of things that can help you to detox, your green juices, things like cilantro. Cilantro and parsley are fantastic for helping to detox metals from the body. So if you have a juicer, you can add parsley and cilantro into your juice when you juice them. Again, with things like cilantro and parsley, you don't want to do too much, because they can actually force you into too much of a detox too quickly. But a little bit of cilantro and parsley juice each day. Wheatgrass juice is another, any of those really, deep green, juicing those leafy green vegetables are going to be very effective. So kale, collard greens, those things, just including them in your diet is good. But again, when you have the juice, you're going to get even more of those detox benefits. There's also something known as bentonite clay. Bentonite clay kind of acts like a magnet in a way, is one way to think about it. So you can drink the bentonite clay, and that is a way to get a detox effect. Again, you need to just kind of moderate how quickly you do, how much you take, and really be honest with yourself about where you're at. If you're a really super healthy person, your body's probably going to be fine doing a significant heavy metal detox. But for the average person out there eating the average diet, you really need to go slow and be super duper gentle, or else you are in danger of detoxifying too quickly. I'm actually coming up with a 30-day detox program that's actually going to break down the different levels and help people determine where they should be at, and then it gives various steps that you do So it literally step by step breaks down and helps to kind of adjust a detox program to wherever your body is at. So that's going to be coming out on Amazon sometime soon. Can't tell you when, but it is in the works. I'm very excited about it. Eric De Leon, I see your comment about your question, but I don't see your question. So if you want to leave it again, please. I think YouTube gets a little overwhelmed by the live chats. They just seem a little bit glitchity sometimes. So, if your comment gets lost or something like that, maybe you just need to leave it again. And I am sorry. Nita Vlogs, Corrina, is it safe to consume fructose syrup? Pause for the hydrational cause here. Okay. Okay, fructose syrup. So I want to answer this question and hopefully in the context answer some of the kind of similarly related questions, like what's the healthiest sweetener? Is fruit healthy for me to eat? Can I eat fruit? This is such a big thing because we know that fruits contain sugar, obviously. But you have to understand that not all sugars are created equal. So when we're talking about the worst of the worst, your high fructose corn syrup. So when you say fructose syrup, I don't know if you're talking about high fructose corn syrup specifically. What that sounds like to me is that they are basically using high fructose corn syrup and they're just calling it fructose syrup to try and make it not sound so bad. Your refined white sugar, so just your table sugar. And if you ever look over on the food label and it just says sugar, that's refined sugar. That's what we're talking about. These are so unhealthy for you. So partially because these sugars are man-made or they are refined from another food. So they take the ear of corn and then they put it through a chemical processing to just pull out the sweetness, just pull out the starch and the sweetness of the corn, and then concentrate that into a syrup. So for lack of a better comparison, I often compare sugar to cocaine. Because when we talk about refining, the process that makes sugar is very similar to the process that makes cocaine. So you can think about the coca leaf. It grows. You can think about it. Maybe you've ever seen a coca leaf field in movies or something like that, right? It's growing out of the ground. And you can walk up to the coca leaf plant and take one and put it in your mouth, and you'll get a sensation from it, right? But it is not anywhere near the sensation that you get if you were to actually do cocaine. And I've never done cocaine, guys. I am not speaking from personal experience here. I am purely talking about this refining process. So literally it's the same thing. You could talk about a corn, you could talk about a sugar beet. Okay, there's these, literally where they get sugar is from plants called sugar beets. And then there's also other places where they can source sugar from. But basically they take the plant, they put it through some chemical processing, and they refine it into the actual sugar. The same way they take the coca plant and they refine it into cocaine. And if you ever watched Blow or Narcos or any of those movies where they kind of show the process that of making cocaine, it's horrifying. So that's what they're doing to the sugar. So when you see fructose syrup, okay, or evaporated cane juice is another one. It's not quite as bad as your typical just plain refined sugar or your high fructose corn syrup. But you also just don't exactly know what kind of processing went into it. So now let's move to the other side. What sweeteners can you eat? Because I have a sweet tooth too. I'm right there with you. I get it. It's not like you're going to never eat sweet foods again. You just have to find a healthy way to do it. So moving towards the healthier end of sweeteners, we could talk about things like agave syrup, which is still a processed sweetener. I would say that your agave syrup is going to at least be a better option than plain sugar or high fructose corn syrup, primarily because your high fructose corn syrup and your regular sugar, there's a really good chance that they're genetically modified, because corn and sugar beet are two of the most common GMO plants. So at least if you're having agave nectar, you know it's not genetically modified. So I don't believe that they are genetically modifying agave yet. Moving even more, there's things like coconut sugar. Again, it's still processed, but at least it's not as processed, and at least it's not potentially GMO. Your best sweeteners are going to be your minimally processed sweeteners. So this whole rant I just went on was about the problems with processing and refining. So the recommendation is to have something that isn't refined or processed. It's in as close to its natural state as possible. So these would be things like honey, maple syrup, dates, and fruits themselves. So when you're talking about the sugar that's contained in a fruit, let's talk about an apple. I love apples. They're so good, and they're crunchy. They're so good. Getting a little off topic here. So we think about the apple. Yes, the apple contains sugar, but it also contains fiber, electrolytes, minerals, vitamins, enzymes, antioxidants. So within that apple that you're eating, yes, you're getting some sugar, but number one, you're getting it in an amount that the body can handle, because humans have been eating fruit for many, many years. We can handle this amount of sugar. Okay. Quantity wise, we're talking about, a significantly lower quantity of sugar than would be present, a significantly lower concentration of sugar, right? So eating the fruit, really good idea. Really good way to satisfy a sweet tooth. Perhaps the best way to satisfy a sweet tooth, actually, eating a piece of fruit. But when we talk about fructose syrup, now again, we're talking about this fruit that's been refined. If you are looking at things like maple syrup and honey, here you have something that's not processed at all. Or, they probably do some kind of processing to it when they pull it out of the tree. I don't know. But bottom line is, it's in close to its natural state. And the thing to look for on the product label of things like that is just that it's 100% honey or 100% maple syrup. A lot of the pancake syrups on the grocery store aisle, unfortunately, if you read the back, it'll be like high fructose corn syrup, maple flavor, caramel color. That's not a natural sweetener. It's not good for you. But your 100% maple syrup and honey are going to be, natural, least close to the healthiest sweeteners you can get. They actually give you minerals and give you B vitamins and stuff like that. So something that gives you health benefits, it's going to be much, much better for you. Not even going to get into a discussion of insulin, blood sugar spikes, and how blood sugar spikes are what cause weight gain. Blood sugar spikes are also what cause heart disease. Okay, so insulin, blood sugar, glycemic index, these are all other topics we could get into. I'm going to not do that at the moment. I'm going to go on and look for more questions. But if you put in blood sugar as the search term on Psychetruth, you will find I've made dozens of videos on this topic. Stephanie Jean, I'm suffering from crippling anxiety. I feel like I've been trying everything to help myself, but the panic just keeps coming back. I really don't want to take psychotropic medications. So Stephanie, my heart goes out to you. Anxiety is such a difficult thing to have to deal with, and it just makes everything more difficult in life. So my heart totally goes out to you for going through this. We here at Psychetruth are definitely proponents of a more natural approach. We've done a lot of videos over the years about the dangers of certain psychiatric medications. So we would always err on the side of, using those medications as kind of a last resort. So really trying to exhaust all of the different natural remedies and different solutions that we might have, because there are a lot of dangers associated with those medications. If anyone in this chat room right now is on a psychiatric medication of some kind, the most important thing I could ever say about psychiatric meds is never quit them cold turkey. Never quit your psych drugs cold turkey. And just in case someone in this chat room is typing away and they weren't listening, do not ever quit a psychiatric drug cold turkey. If you've ever had a friend that was taking psych meds of some kind, and people say, "Oh, I've seen Johnny when he's not on his meds," as kind of proof that he needs to take meds of some kind, it's very important to point out that what you're seeing is Johnny in withdrawal. Those psychiatric medications must be weaned off of very slowly. Do not quit them cold turkey. Do not quit them cold turkey. Do not, please, ever quit them cold turkey. Just had to get that off my chest. Probably there's a lot of different things that we can do in our lives to try to reduce anxiety. I think in terms of resolving anxiety, really the best thing to look for is a therapist or counselor, someone that you can talk to, because more than anything, we are creatures of communication. And just talking to someone about something that we're going through or emotions that we're having can literally be the key that unlocks what feels like an insolvable problem. Interestingly, we live in a culture that kind of demonizes therapy in a way. It's more normal in our culture to take psychiatric medications than it is to see a therapist, which is completely backwards, right? It's more accepted that you're going to take a really potentially dangerous and addictive drug that's toxic to your liver and the rest of your body. And that's more accepted than just going and sitting there and talking to someone about your problems. Could we weigh out which of these is a safer and less invasive approach? Anyways, so I know that there's kind of some stigma associated with seeing a therapist, seeing a counselor, talking to someone about something, but oh my gosh, it literally, in my opinion, is one of the most important things that we can do for our mental health. There's also something called ASMR. Just put in those 4 little letters on YouTube, ASMR. This is an entire genre of videos designed to reduce anxiety and insomnia. So I don't know if ASMR is going to necessarily resolve your anxiety, so to speak, but it can definitely give you some hands-on, start having a panic attack. Here's a video I can go to that I know makes me feel better. I see comments all the time on our ASMR videos that they help people with their anxiety or their depression. I see so many positive comments from people that are really, really helped out by those videos. So I would encourage you to check that out. Things like incorporating a yoga practice, stretching, meditating. These are all things that can help. But I would just one last time mention that, I think seeing a therapist or counselor is really our greatest tool for overcoming those types of things once and for all. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Y'all are so sweet. Ryan Bittner, how important is it to eat food without preservatives or antibiotics for your weight? So I was talking earlier about how in college my senior thesis paper was called The Physiological Effects of Processed Foods and Implications in Health and Disease. So what I was studying 10 years ago and writing down as like a theory is kind of what's accepted now in the field of natural health and natural medicine. So preservatives and antibiotics, these are just two out of arguably dozens of different kind of areas of interest or aspects that we need to pay attention to. So let's just talk basically about, preservatives. Why do they put a preservative in the food? They put a preservative in the food to make a food last longer than it naturally would. To make it last longer than it naturally would. So we got a couple problems here, which is that the actual nutritional benefit of the food is probably already gone by the time you eat it. Because if they had to add a chemical to it just to preserve the food from like going rancid or going so bad that you wouldn't eat it, then like that food's not good anymore. Most natural foods won't have preservatives added to them. They're just going to have an expiration date. Now, there are some preservatives still added to foods, and there are even some healthy and natural foods out there that they add a preservative to. It's important to consider what the preservative is, because you can preserve something with, like lemon juice or citric acid. But a lot of the synthetic preservatives, the man-made chemicals that are used to preserve foods, these don't, they don't have any health benefit in themselves. And then their only purpose is to kind of trick you into eating a food that's really not good enough to be eaten anymore, right? They had to preserve it because it would have gone bad on its own. Antibiotics. Who takes antibiotics? Well, people? No. They give antibiotics to animals when they're sick, right? So I don't know, is it going to be healthy for you to eat a sick animal? What do you think? If you were a cannibal and you came across a village of people and some of them were sick and some of them were healthy, which ones would you eat? Weird question, totally off topic and a little goofy, but I hope that maybe I'm conveying my point here. Animals that are given antibiotics are sick. Do you want to eat sick animals? Do you think sick animals give you health benefits? Anyway, so yeah, from the perspective that you want to eat foods that are going to give you nutritional benefits, you want to do things that are going to promote health in the body rather than take from it, I would recommend that you stay with natural foods that don't need preservatives. And if you are going to eat animal foods, such as meat and dairy, eat ones that are antibiotic free, because then they're healthy.
I'll start talking to her and you can ramble.
Okay. Alrighty, guys, I'm sure y'all noticed that I totally got distracted. Somebody walked in here and I actually have an appointment that just arrived. I am afraid that I am going to have to close up for today. I was going to round up a little bit early today anyways, because we are actually doing my office birthday party here in just a minute. I'm really excited. So all of the little folks, we basically work in a building that has a couple of different businesses in it. So we're going to go and we're going to have a little holiday birthday celebration for me. I'm very excited about. There's a lot of questions in here. Typically I cannot answer all of the questions in the live chat. That's just kind of how it goes, unfortunately. But I covered a lot of ground today. I really hope that I was able to answer some of y'all's questions. Please come back again next week. So same time, same place, 2 p.m. Central, right here on your YouTube machine. I'm very excited as tomorrow is my birthday. Here is your one last and final chance to leave a tip or leave a question or leave a tip and a question if you would like to get an answer. Many thanks to the handful of folks today that did leave a tip. I am so super grateful. Cannot tell you enough how much it means to me. Grim Ace, Charlie Wallace, so many wonderful friends and faces here in the live chat. So thank you guys so much. I am just going to do a quick little live chat theme song here as I wait to see if any other tips and or questions pop up. It's time for live chat. The Psychetruth live chat. Every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on your YouTube machine. Live chat. Live chat, live chat, live chat. Psychetruth, live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat. Happy birthday to Nita Vlogs as well. I'm glad you got a guitar. I hope you'll play it. That's really exciting. Thank you all so much for being here, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.